Bloom was born in Lansford, Pennsylvania in 1913. He received a master's degree from Pennsylvania State University in 1935. In 1943, he received a PhD in education from the University of Chicago, where he then became a professor of education. Later, he served as an educational advisor to the governments of Israel, India, and other countries. He also played a major role in the creation of the International Association for the Evaluation of Education Achievement, which seeks to improve education internationally. Bloom's taxonomy is that there are different levels to learning. The most basic is knowledge, followed by comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. In the mid-90s, it was revised by former students Laurie Anderson and David Krathwohl in the mid-90s to become remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating.
The first tier to Bloom's taxonomy is called knowledge, later revised to be called remembering. It involves the recall of specifics and universals, the recall of methods and processes, or the recall of a pattern, structure, or setting. Example questions would be, where was this picture taken, or when was it taken? The second tier to Bloom's taxonomy he called comprehension, later to be revised as understanding. It refers to a type of understanding or apprehension such that the individual knows what is being communicated and can make use of the material or idea, being communicated without necessarily relating it to other material or seeing its fullest implications. A few sample questions would be, what is happening in this picture, and what color is the building? The third tier is application, which refers to the use of abstractions in particular and concrete situations. Two example questions would be, how would you describe this photograph, and how would you caption this photograph? Bloom's fourth tier is called analysis, which represents the breakdown of a communication into its constituent elements or parts, such that the relative hierarchy of ideas is made clear and/or the relations between ideas expressed are made explicit. Two example questions would be, why is the sky darker on one side, and what do you know about the time based on this picture? The fifth tier to Bloom's taxonomy is called synthesis. It was later revised to be called evaluating. It involves the putting together of elements and parts so as to form a whole. Two example questions would be, how might a student feel on the top floor of the building? And what is a day like for a student here? The last tier to Bloom's taxonomy is evaluation, later to be revised as creating. It engenders judgments about the value of material and methods for given purposes. Example questions would be, compare the building to a building in 1911, or what is significant in the photo to the time period we live in today?
Some strengths of his theory are that it is useful for test development, helpful in determining objectives, defines thinking in a usable way, and is usable for question prompts to promote higher thinking. Some weaknesses are that there are overlap between the categories, each category is hard to specifically define, and many activities don't correlate with the theory. The revised version attempted to address some of the weaknesses by focusing on the how of problem solving. Teachers can use Bloom's taxonomy by having an organized set of objectives, having activities that correlate with specific categories, using it purposely to promote higher levels of thinking and understanding, and it can be used to create meaningful questions. It's also very useful for English language learners.